Hi, I'm William from the Zombie Star, and this week in comics is going to be a strange one because after taking a week off, I took a little vacation. I am so behind on my books, so there are so many to read. So this week in comics is going to consist of things that came out this week, but also things that came out last week, and this is probably going to be in two parts. I think it's going to be in two parts, but we're going to see how that goes. But we got one number one for sure and a whole bunch of follow-up issues, but still some really great titles, some really great stories, and some things that I'm still just strongly recommending. So let's begin. Being fans of movies like The Thing, They Live, and In the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter's Tales of Science Fiction number one, Hell number one, is a real pleasant reminder why we consider John Carpenter to be just an absolute master of horror. Similar to his big screen productions, Science Fiction, Tales of Science Fiction Hell number one introduces an ensemble of characters that really just go straight to hell. In this narrative, hell is a physical place that is actually discovered, and it's up to a crew of a geologist and occultist and others to reach this destination in the name of science. All kinds of wrong is just going to happen in the story, and we feel it's really just the perfect amount of ingredients for a classic John Carpenter gore fest. Artistically, the artwork is deliberate in its character and creature models, and it chooses to just use really dramatic visuals and a intense color palette that really we feel is just needed if you're gonna tell a John Carpenter style of story. This is going to be one of 8 issues. It being a John Carpenter story, it being a horror graphic novel, this was a lot of fun to read. That first issue just really gets going as any John Carpenter film should. So really excited to finish this off for 8 issues. This is Tales of Science Fiction, John Carpenter's Tales of Science Fiction, Hell number one. Batman Black and White continues its collection of short stories with issue number 5. Artists and authors gather once again to really explore and tell different stories about different aspects of Batman's life, from Robin's training to his relationship, Batman's relationship with Jim Gordon, and even offers an alternate and kind of odd origin story for Two-Face that I never knew about. But really, the standout story is the last segment of issue number 5. It was really my personal favorite, where we see an encounter between Batman and the Riddler. A cat and mouse chase ensues, but the reader is allowed control over the narrative. That's all I'm going to say. It's really unique. I've never read anything like it before, and it was really awesome. Artistically, the artists are just being very creative and very diverse with this black and white color scheme. As each story is different, the artwork is absolutely distinct of the other stories. Whether it be a slugfest, a slow noir, or a plot with twists and turns, the art is absolutely on point. I actually realized that I didn't pick up the main cover. I only picked up the variant covers, so but this has got to be my favorite from the 2 that I got. It is just Batman and the Riddler. Almost looks like a Virgin cover, but it is not, and definitely my favorite. And again, that story at the end was personally just my favorite. It was really awesome, and we picked up one variant. Almost looks like a pencil sketch. Again, excuse me with the authors and artists, as again, so many are involved in this project. But this week we did see the release of Batman Black and White issue number 5. I'm not sure how long this is running for, but as a Batman fan, absolutely loving this series. From Aftershock Comics, Nuclear Family issue number 3. This was a surprise. This is a surprise series for me, as I blindly jumped into issue number 1. A simple, wholesome American family in the 50s living constantly under the threat of nuclear war. If you guys are interested in this story and you want to start reading from number 1, either skip this segment or stop watching completely, because I'm going to spoil some certain aspects that were really a surprise back in issue number 1. It's issue number 3 now, so, you know. The bombs go off and the United States gets obliterated. That's not the surprise, though. As the family returns to the surface, they find themselves 10 years in the future, in 1968. The twists and turns in this narrative are so unexpected and sudden that each issue just introduces a new layer of strange and weird as the story progresses. The artwork is really another factor in this unpredictable narrative, as it is deceptively colorful and lighthearted with some of its character models. and then can just suddenly change moods on you with grim color schemes and dark atmospheres that really depict the characters in some really desperate moments. This is a roller coaster ride of a story, and it is just so good. Science fiction fans, if you're fans of things like Stranger Things, but definitely with a darker tone, this is going to be definitely for you, an absolute must read. Nuclear Family, issue number 3. This is the only cover that we got from Aftershock Comic Books. This is a lot of fun. From Image Comics, Two Moons, issue number 3. This continues to impress with its take on the Civil War time period. Its attention to detail and just overall intense artwork. Issue 3 continues the horrific journey of a Pawnee native serving in the Union Army during the Civil War. Virgil Morris is torn between this conflict and the disturbed spirit realm of his Pawnee culture. Virgil is able to cross over and interact with spirits or demons as he finds himself really fighting two kinds of wars. Narratively, I'm just loving the undertone of evil only breeds more evil. This is a good read for a lot of reasons. The artwork perfectly captures the brutal environment of the Civil War, the rage and the fear of the characters. The monsters are absolutely horrific, but they are beautifully drawn. As far as Image Comics go, Two Moons is currently number 1 for me. This was the standard cover for Two Moons issue number 3. As you can tell, easily a horror story, but honestly it is a lot more. And we did get one not incentive, I wish, variant cover for Two Moons issue number 3. This is awesome. I cannot recommend it enough. The Department of Truth is back. From Image Comic Books issue number 8. There is not a comic book in print that will mess with your mind more than the Department of Truth. Still taking you down the rabbit hole that is the Department of Truth, this continues to rely on some of the most bizarre and terrifying conspiracy theories in our country's history in order to push its narrative. Special Agent Cole Turner is new to the Department of Truth, and still trying to determine what is real as some of the deepest and darkest secrets of America's history are revealed to him. From New World Order conspiracy theories to silent black helicopters, issue 8 maintains its suspenseful pace while still giving you enough to keep you engaged. Just as its content, the art style is deliberately distorted and really leaves you with the notion that nothing is ever as it seems. The art is also manic as colors change from background to foreground, from panel to panel. Still, the most unique artistic quality of this title is the fact that the art style can change from issue to issue depending on what time period it's addressing and its particular subject matter. The Department of Truth issue number 8. This is our standard cover, and we actually did pick up 2 variant covers. Cannot recommend this enough. I know I was going on about Two Moons and how that is my number 1. Sometimes I read Department of Truth and I just don't know. They are both really good titles coming from a really good publisher. So read them both. They're amazing. Alien from Marvel Comics was a highly anticipated title as it took on a very established franchise and even a more established fan base. Issue number 1, in my opinion, hit all the right notes as it was a solid start to a sincere continuation of the films. Issue number 2 does start off slow, but keeps its promise of its story being true to its origins, as it does take us down memory lane and it has strong references to some of our favorite Alien films. In issue number 2, Gabriel Cruz is a retired Marine that cannot avoid but return back to duty and once again have to face the dreaded xenomorphs. This issue really doesn't waste any time in putting its characters in imminent danger as the body count begins to climb. As in issue number 1, the art is really a tribute to the series' cinematic roots and really takes on an appropriate mature look for the comic. Without spoilers, the opening panels are really an overdose of terror as the visuals vividly capture the consequences of what happens when you encounter these deadly monsters. Artistically, I feel that there is an escalation of brutality and gore from issue number 1, and hopefully this is an indication of the direction that this series wants to go in. Issue number 2 for Alien from Marvel Comics. And we did pick up one variant. And check out that xenomorph with that yellow background. That's probably my favorite over the standard cover. And those are the only two. Alien, issue number 2. This is really cool. If you're a fan, give it a shot. You might like it. We're going to go ahead and stop there for this week in comics, as I'm going to try my best to really put up a two-parter for this, because I really have more books to read that came out this week and the week before. So hopefully that's going to go up soon. But thank you guys for watching. Come visit us at thezombiestar.com, and I'll see you guys soon.